All right, what it do, P-Town crew? Today we're here. I did a few weeks ago. I did a video where I ranked my top 50 anime, and now since it's out there, let's just get it done. Let's show you all my top 30 manga. I reduced it to top 30 instead of top 50 because I have not read nearly as much manga as I had anime. So I did, a top 50. Some of those entries would be manga that I'm not as enthusiastic about, not as big as a fan of. So I just want to give you guys the best of the best, or at least 30 manga that I can comfortably say that I'm a fan of. And yeah, this is my list. Um, a lot of the manga here is pretty much present. If you've seen my manga tier list videos, you probably have a good idea of what's going to appear on here. And by the way, I just want to say, if you're coming back from those videos, any of those manga tier list videos, thank you so much for coming back. Of course, this year's manga tier list is, of course, still in development. I will be releasing another one sometime, at the end of the year, early next year. So thank you all for that support. And if you're coming back, thank you once again. And yeah, let's get into this list where I actually kind of rank them closer to one another versus just within their own tiers on tier list. So yeah, some disclaimers. This is just my personal opinion. Okay, I have not read everything. There are some things that I've read that you haven't, and vice versa. So yes, just don't take this personally. It's just my opinion. I've included, like my tier list, I've included manga and manhwa on this list. Um, this is subjective to change. Who knows? Will any manga this year make the list? Well, I'll maybe keep this list spoiler free. So yeah, this is just my top 30. So let's just get into this. I'm sorry if you can hear the plane going on in the background. You know how it is. I'm back with the PowerPoint. I'm back with the headset microphone, your classic indie budget YouTuber. But anyways, let's get into some honorable mentions here. We have two series from Atsushi Okubo, Soul Eater and Fire Force. Some really great artwork, as well as Junji Ito's. I believe this is Shiver. Yeah. Shiver is really, really good. And yeah, some honorable mentions. And then a final one, Bleach. Had to give a little nod to one of the big three. Bleach is very enjoyable. And, even though I'm not the biggest fan, I had to give it an honorable mention. So starting off at number 30, I have Black Lagoon. This is a series that I heavily praised. Revi, she's one of my favorite characters of all time, probably my favorite female MC of all time across manga, and just one of my favorite um, female characters ever. Right, she makes a short list alongside Kagura from Gintama and some other entries and some other characters on this list. But yeah, I absolutely adore the dynamic between Revi and Rock. I think the action's super cheesy, but really, really fun. And after kind of rewatching Hardboiled sometime earlier this year, I've definitely come to appreciate the over the top gun action. So yeah, Black Lagoon, really good. Up next, we have Onani Master Kurosawa, a surprisingly, I mean, it starts off very vulgar and it gets surprisingly very heartfelt. And honestly, at times, a kind of relatable um, coming of age story, where it kind of addresses the themes of kind of, sex and, connection, regret, and all that. A very surprisingly heartfelt series that I think that the artwork did really well in kind of encapsulating that the atmosphere of both vulgar as well as very deep and intimate. For 28, I have Record of Ragnarok. I've not read this too much since I made the tier list. I pretty much only read it once a year, so that way I can watch the entirety of the next fight in its entirety. For those who don't know, this is a manga about humanity and all of gods throughout mythology and different religions kind of fighting in a tournament. You know what I mean? For the fate of humanity is at stake, and humanity has recruited a bunch of humans, famous humans from their past, such as the first human Adam, some infamous ones like Jack the Ripper, some other notable characters such as Nikola Tesla, Lubu, etc. And it's just a really cool premise that I think is done really well. The artwork's really fun, some really great battles, and yeah. Moving on, we have Tokyo Ghoul, very popular. I was gonna say shonen. No, this is a seinen. Sorry, very popular seinen, and honestly, for good measure, it's got some fantastic artwork. It's got a really nice cast of characters, some really nice detailed artwork. And you know what? If Tokyo Ghoul's gonna spit facts like right here in this panel with Gintama being the best, then gotta give it its nod. Tokyo Ghoul. 28, we have Omniscient Reader, which is a really great manhwa. I rated it very highly on my tier list. I think the thing that's changed is that I haven't really read it that much since I put it on that tier list and since that tier list video, because I kind of preferred binging it. As you guys know, I try to avoid ongoing series because I don't always as much like reading chapter to chapter. I think an experience such as Omniscient Reader was kind of tainted by reading it week to week. So I've taken a break, but all in all, it's just a very consistent narrative. Moving on. 25, Uzumaki, a classic in Junji Ito's bibliography, excuse me, not discography, bibliography. Is it a normie pick for, manga, horror manga? Sure. But it's, as someone who's not a horror connoisseur, I think this title really resonated with me. It's just really good, very creative in its art style, in its bending of reality. And yeah, shout out to Junji Ito for making horror, the few horror media that I can actually digest. So yeah. The heck, did I skip one? Okay, sorry. Um, 24 through 22, we have three consecutive zombie series in a row. We have 40 the Apocalypse, followed by Shotgun Boy, followed by Zombie 100. All three zombie manga with all three different kind of executions. You know, 40 the Apocalypse is just a pretty standard and safe zombie series, but some really creative art, which is why I really like it. Shotgun Boy is a great manhwa, which really utilizes the tension and the aspect of manhwa and really takes it to its full potential. At least not at its best with this creator, because we're going to see some other series from this guy later. But anyways, a really fun and just really thrilling series. And then Zombie 100, which is a wholesome zombie series. You really can't go wrong with any of these zombie series. All of them are different for sure, but if you like your zombie media, if you like your zombie games, if you like your The Walking Deads and such like that, go ahead and give any of these three zombie manga a shot. I'm sure that you can find something to enjoy across any of these three. Number 21, we have Hajime no Ippo, really entertaining boxing manga, some really high detailed artwork, and it's got some nice longevity to it. I will say, as I may have mentioned in my manga tier list, that its length does hold it back from being higher. But what I will say is that the peaks that this manga has is definitely much higher and favorably comparable to most of the manga that we'll see, not only throughout what we've seen so far, but even manga that I would place higher than Hajime no Ippo. Ippo still has some extremely high peaks. So if you're looking for a really long series and you just want to be invested and stay in its world of characters and conflicts are so long, Hajime no Ippo is definitely a great one. It's the longest manga I've read, and I can still say it's really good. Into the top 20 now, we have Kaguya-sama Love is War, just a wholesome and fun take on the battle genre. And yeah, I don't know. I think I read it at a point where I was just like, yeah, I just need some romance media in my life. And Kaguya-sama really kind of filled that void. It's just some wholesome stuff. If you like to overthink, this manga is for you, because this is just overthinkers, two smart people, two overthinkers just take it to a whole nother level of love. And yeah, Kaguya-sama, really good stuff. And yes, I prefer the manga over the anime. I did primarily read the manga versus the anime, but yeah, definitely check out the manga. It just completed earlier. Was it last year or this year? Wow, time moves freaking fast. Um, yeah, just last year. So yeah. If you're a fan of the anime, go ahead and read the manga. I would definitely recommend it. Number 19, we have Mashal. I think something that's great that I don't believe I mentioned when I did this on the tier list is that what makes Mashal kind of like a close place to my heart as far as a manga goes is that I've been able to witness its artistic evolution in real time. I've been reading it chapter to chapter for many months now, a couple years, and I've just been watching the manga art just improve with each passing chapter, and it just keeps getting better and better. So I think it definitely does some nod. If you like your Naruto, right? This series is like Rock Lee if you went to Hogwarts. If you like your Harry Potter, this has a nice take on parroting the magic tropes that we love. And yeah, Mashal, really good stuff. Number 18 is Chainsaw Man, classic shonen. An instant classic in the part of the new gen, and definitely aging well. And at least in my opinion, I much prefer the manga over the anime. I don't really see too much opposing it. But if you are a fan of the anime and you haven't read the manga yet, go ahead and check out the manga. It's got some really awesome artwork, some really great paneling, and yeah, super iconic series. Already making its waves, making the waves. Number 17, we have Dead Man Wonderland. I did have some glowing words to say about Dead Man Wonderland. I think it's a consistently good series, a short series that doesn't overstay its welcome. Lots of brutality, lots of high, intensity moments, very heartfelt, nice cast of characters, just an overall well-rounded manga. Pretty much anything you can think of when it comes to manga, I think Dead Man Wonderland does everything very, very well. So it's consistently gets it in its top 20. Number 16 is The Promised Neverland. Read the manga, y'all. Read the manga. Okay. You can watch the first season of the anime, but steer clear of the second season that never happened. What second season? I don't know about a second season. I don't know about you, but like after rereading The Promised Neverland sometime last year, it's definitely grown on me even a little bit more. Or was it earlier this year? I can't remember. Either way, I recently reread it, and yeah, it still sticks to me. I think the narrative is so consistently engaging. Just the constant mystery of these monsters and such like that. Oh, also, I'm sorry if I'm not really giving too much premise on a lot of these manga. Um, Probably about 95% of the manga here are like well-known popular series. So I'm usually under the impression that all of these. But yeah, go ahead. Just take any of these 30 recommendations. right? And as for Promised Neverland, read the manga, man. It's just so good, so good. It still holds up. I still prefer it as among my favorite new gen. Even more so than a Chainsaw Man, than a Mashal, etc. Top 15, we have Doro Hedoro. I got to reread this earlier this year, and yeah, Kyoshida popped off with this manga. A fucking phenomenal art style. I love the freaking art style in this manga. I don't know if I'd like just any manga that has this dirty, gritty, robust art style, but Doro Hedoro does it super well. The backgrounds, the settings are always different. I think Kyoshida is so creative in its world and its magic, its procedures. Its anatomy horror is just always super different, creative, and engaging. Lots of surprises. And after rereading it, I would still say that the story and the narrative gets a little bit convoluted towards the last quarter. But I think after rereading it, it has aged well in my eyes. I really appreciate how Kyoshida is able to include this varied and wide cast of characters and is able to link pretty much every single character to the overarching story in some way, shape, or form. Doro Hedoro, after rereading especially, I can confidently say that this has one of my favorite casts in manga. Number 14, I have Golden Kamuy. I've sung the praises of this manga for consistency, and yeah, it still holds up. Consistent. This manga has consistently great action, consistently great mystery, a great cast of characters, some great quality artwork. It's consistently funny. It has really awesome pacing and tone changes, right? From super serious to very funny, as well as the different genres it can encapsulate, like history manga, food manga, action manga, thriller, everything, close to everything. Like if you like romance, you're not gonna get much romance in Golden Kamuy, but pretty much anything else, you can find something to enjoy in Golden Kamuy. And I know a reread will have this higher, but for now, I'm gonna put it at number 14. Number 13, we have King and Ashura. As you guys know, this MMA channel, or I'm sorry, this channel has become more of an MMA channel. So if you're here for my MMA videos, read King and Ashura, dude. It has some fucking awesome martial arts and combat action, realistic, over the top artwork, heavily detailed, some great choreography. It really does feel like you're just watching just this bare knuckled fight. You're watching a street beefs fight. You know what I mean? But like taken to another freaking level. Just I've never watched the King and Ashura anime, but I don't need to. I really don't feel like I need to because the artwork is just so good, so well choreographed, so well paneled that there's really no question about what's happening. There's no confusion. It really does feel like I'm just watching a real fight right in front of me. Um, Such an awesome series. If you like MMA, if you like combat sports, and you haven't given this manga a shot yet, go ahead and check out King and Ashura. Okay, this might be the gateway manga for you. Number 12, you have Claymore, one of the best dark fantasy stuff that I've read. Some really fun stuff. Some of my favorite transformations in manga. Like some of them are pictured here, but some awesome transformations. Super highly detailed artwork. Some awesome action. Super consistent. Don't really know what else to say other than sound like a broken record if you've seen my manga tier list. And yeah, Claymore. And this needs a reread. This needs a reread. Number 11 is Parasite. Um, I will have to say, um, Parasite is like one of the few series in which both the anime and the manga is, among my favorites of all time. I could argue the manga still alone is like top 10, top 5 material. But because I still have such a love from with the anime, the Parasite anime, um I was more willing to put Parasite lower. But I do want to emphasize that Parasite is one of the best stories I've ever witnessed, and the manga still holds up in of itself. You know what I mean? Go read Parasite. Go read or watch Parasite. I honestly, unlike The Promised Neverland, I don't care which one you do. If you read Parasite or watch it, you'll get an amazing experience from both. Just a really awesome seinen, violent. It's got some really great storytelling. Has some very deep characters, an awesome protagonist, some cool development, some awesome dynamics. Man, Parasite, man, just gotta give it to Parasite. All right, number 10, we have D Gray Man. Top 10, everybody. This is like some of the best in my eyes, at least in my opinion. Okay, D Gray Man. Why do I love D Gray Man so much? It's just the art style for me. Just to repeat kind of what I said in the tier list, if I were to make a manga, it would look a lot like excuse me. Gosh. If I were to make a manga, it would look a lot like the Degree Man. The Degree Man. Shoot. I freaking stumbled for like 10 seconds trying to not say the Degree Man, but I ended up fixing myself just to say it again. Okay. Degree Man is just the series for me. As far as how characters are written, art style, character designs, story, the battle system, how development, tone, pacing, humor, close to anything and everything. about a manga, Degreymon just feels like it fits my style, right? It just resonates with me. I think Katsura Hoshino just is on the same wavelength with me, so that's why I just feel like Degreymon is just such a series that I hold near and dear. I love Degreymon. Go read Degreymon, man. Underrated shonen. At number 9, we have Teppu. And, kind of like I said earlier, this channel has become an MMA channel. And here's the thing. Here's what I have to say about Teppu, okay? There are a few things. There are a handful of things that really fast forward my interest in MMA and more specifically the UFC, okay? It was Anderson Silva. It was Dustin Poirier. It was Zhang Weilei versus Yonan Jacek 1. And it was Teppu, okay? I would watch highlights of Anderson Silva finishing, his opponents throughout middle school and high school. Um, you know, fights like Dustin Poirier's second Conor McGregor fight and Zhang Weilei versus Joanna Jacek 1 helped me get into UFC. And then Teppu right here was also the manga that helped really further my interest in MMA and watching it full time. Teppu is very grounded. I could definitely say that Kengan Ashura has the better fights because they're more over the top and more violent. But if you just want a really realistic and grounded manga experience where you can like clearly see the action, Teppu is the manga for you, man. Um, this really does feel like when I read Teppu, and I'm rereading this right now, and it's still holding up. Right now, I'm rereading this. When I read Teppu, it feels like I'm turning on the TV and I'm just watching a really good women's flyweight fight. Okay, don't get twisted. It's not like a women's bantamweight or women's featherweight. Okay, like a really good women's flyweight fight. Like something like a good Valentina Shevchenko fight or a good Alexa Grasso fight in recent memory. Okay, like the grappling, the striking, the way that the artwork is drawn, it is just clear as day. You know what I mean? It is just so clear, so grounded, so realistic that as an MMA fan, I can't help but really fall in love with this series. If you are here from my MMA videos, give either Kigen Ashura or Teppu a shot because I think you could really like these series. And Natsuo Ishido is just such a complex and cool protagonist. Number 8 is Berserk. Berserk. Don't really have much else to say because what hasn't been said about Berserk? I mean, it has some of the best artwork I've ever seen, some of the best characters, some of the best dialogue, some of the best well-crafted scenes, some amazing paneling, creativity. Um, Berserk, man. I mean, I guess I have to like justify why it isn't number one. You know what I mean? But like Berserk is still phenomenal. Like Berserk, read it. Okay, it's not for everybody. It's not for the faint of heart. But I think anybody who reads Berserk can probably take away something from it. And yeah, Berserk, number 8. Number 7, Slam Dunk, my favorite sports franchise. I don't even like sports like that. Like MMA and more specifically UFC is like my bread and butter. Like I can keep you up to tabs on the UFC. Don't ask me about basketball. Okay, like cool, Russell Westbrook. All right, cool. All right, but Slam Dunk is awesome. Slam Dunk is awesome. All right, the matches, all right, are better than basketball in my opinion. Now maybe people who actually watch basketball might have something to differ, might beg to differ, but like yeah, if you just want some high intensity, some investing matches that just feel like you're turning on the TV and watching a great finals game, read Slam Dunk, man. Number 6 is Sweet Home. Another a manhwa that really takes advantage of the manhwa format, really good at building up tension, cliffhangers, atmosphere, some creative artwork, some good action, some really awesome characters, especially with you, the main character, spelled YU. Not you. I'm not talking about you behind the camera, but or the screen. But anyways, Sweet Home, go read it. I'm just blowing through these at this point. Number 5 is Spy Family. I think that in my tier list, I was definitely overwhelmingly positive about Spy Family. But here's what I have to say: like this is the manga that I've like watched, from its infancy. I started reading it from its early chapters. I've been keeping up with it week to week since. Every chapter has felt worth it. You know what I mean? I'm always about like, I can't really get the best experience I'm reading week to week for chapters, right? But Spy Family hasn't really had that. You know what I mean? I've been watching it, since the first 2 seasons, or I guess the first season or the first core or whatever of the anime has come out. I've been watching it blow up in popularity, and I just this is my baby, man. Spy Family is like my baby. Okay, I'm an OG. Not to flex on you like that, but I'm an OG. Okay, so this is my OG series. So I'm gonna fight for Spy Family. Okay, Spy Family. Number 4 is Grand Blue Dreaming, a super consistent comedy. Also taking advantage of the manga format for its humor. This humor is just made for manga. It's misunderstandings, its reveals, its consistency. Month to month. Even less than Spy Family at times, but still worth it every time a chapter comes out. It's always a holiday. It's always an event. Love Grand Blue Dreaming. Excuse me. Number 3 is Ajin. Just one of the coolest series that I've read. Excellent action, excellent paneling, great artwork, great choreography. Sato's a beast. Um, the guy is awesome. Just such a consistent. And I also reread it earlier this year, and yeah, it's just super awesome. It's just that's really all I can say and describe the series. It's just awesome, 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 awesome. Premise, concept, battle system. All of its battles still surprise me after reread, and it's all of its twists and turns and mysteries, and shifts in tide. 0 to 100 escalations. So awesome. Number 2 is Bastard. Bastard is just one of the best stories ever, in my opinion. The only reason why it's not higher is because I've only read it once. Okay, series that are close to Bastard or higher, which is only one, I've had the opportunity to reread. Right, Bastard, I just haven't reread yet, but I can tell you that first read of Bastard is the most thrilling, anxiety-inducing read that I've ever had with reading a story. Just so much tension, done really, really well. Numerous cliffhangers that just made me want to keep reading and reading and reading. Pound for pound, one of the best stories ever. And number 1, yeah, you guys knew it was coming. Hell's Paradise. Maybe an unpopular opinion because the anime, as of this video, the anime is out, and I have some opinions about the anime, and I won't go into too much detail. But what I will say is that, as far as my opinion on Hell's Paradise, it is far greater in the manga. When I talk about Hell's Paradise being one of my favorite series, the manga is just phenomenal. Once again, excellent cast of characters, amazing art style and artwork, some great choreography and action, a nice short and sweet story that doesn't overstay its welcome. You can see it all the way through the whole story. Um, Such a consistent good series, and that's it. Super messy once again, but hey, this is your indie YouTuber video. Manga's cool, y'all. Manga's cool, y'all. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and comment your favorite manga down below. Any manga you love, any manga you dislike. Give me your top tens. Give me your lists. Give me all your favorites. I want to hear them all. And go ahead and subscribe subscribe for more anime manga content that will always be pending. And of course, I got some more UFC and MMA related content coming soon. If you stopped by here and you made it to the end of this video, thank you for stopping by. I love to see you stop by again. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.